episode 25. We're going to be talking about game controllers tonight. We're coming to you live here on twitch.tv at _Malgadar. And that's me, the Malgadar. And that guy over there is none other than Chris.
What's up?
The famous at Chris BCGC on Twitter. Go follow him. He's an awesome dude.
I am. I would like to second that notion.
I'm glad your ego hasn't gotten out of control on you. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, Chris, why don't you start us off by just telling us what you've been up to?
I've literally been up to one thing, and that's been World of Warcraft. That's been pretty much taking over whatever I do for gaming. It's addicting, man.
You don't
And you
say.
get friends going. It's all. It's a lot, man. It's so much fun.
No, actually, you know what's funny is that, all the jokes I've made about World of Warcraft over the years, and here I am this week playing it myself, finally.
Yes,
Well,
finally.
finally, I did play it before for a little bit. Didn't really, it didn't get its teeth into me, or I didn't get my teeth into it, or I don't know, whatever kind of masochistic relationship we're supposed to have. So, yeah, it never happened though. So, trying
I
it
get
again,
that.
having a little more fun with it this time. Trying to figure out I'm trying to bounce around, play a bunch of different classes, try to find a play style that suits me.
That's the key. You got to figure out what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
There's it's a lot of different play styles. Some are lazy play styles, like the mage. If you're just doing PvP, it's pretty lazy.
Throw spell, something like that.
Yeah, and it's all one spell.
Oh. Yeah.
Like you just kind of do one spell until the lights pop up, and then let me do this. But I mean that's only PvE. PvP this is where it gets difficult. I would say beginners definitely play with the warrior. Definitely a lot of fun.
The warrior
Definitely
almost looked like he was super lame because I don't know. It just looked like such a stock class, and I was like,
that's because it is, but they have a lot of different abilities.
See, it killed me because I really want to be the Death Knight, but I gotta actually drop cash on the game and sub and all that just to try the Death Knight, and I'm like, that's just a big investment to, you know what I mean?
It's $20, man.
No, because I gotta buy WoW, and I'm pretty sure I gotta buy the Warlords of Draenor too. So you're talking $40. Then I gotta have a sub.
Huh?
So,
Okay, you're right. You're right. If you don't already own WoW, then it's 40.
Now they were offering me WoW for $10, so I mean, probably looking at about a $30 investment just to try a class. That's a bit more than I want to do right this second. But
well, if you buy
I will spend money on games, bro. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
So.
But if you buy the base game, I don't know if do they give you free game time, or is that like a? Because I know.
Yeah, I think I get the 30 days, so I wouldn't actually have to do the sub right away.
Because I know Warlords, they stopped giving out the free game time. They would do it so every expansion you'd get a month free once you buy the expansion, and they got rid of that because, I mean, they'd spike with subs for 1 month.
Yeah.
And then it drops back down again.
Well, see, here's the other problem I had with Death Knight, right? It starts at 55. Why?
Mm-hmm. It's a hero class.
Okay, but that's kind of bad as a beginner, right? I kind of need to spin my wheels through those lower levels and.
Well, you can't build one until I think you have to be 60 or 50, one of the two.
Yeah.
You can't be a Death Knight until you've already been at 60. See, Death Knights came out during Wrath of the Lich King as a hero class. So if you didn't have anything greater than 60, you couldn't create a Death Knight.
Okay.
But once you got there, you used it. You already played the other one, so it's kind of they give you step by step on how to play that class, and then after 3 levels, they throw you out into the world with good gear and all that. And Death Knights are fun.
They look awesome, but
they do a lot of damage. Very simple class.
In the meantime, I'm having fun with the hunter. That's kind of fun.
Hunters
Shooting,
are fun.
shooting stuff. You got a little pet to tank for you.
Yep.
It's a pretty good setup.
That's the best part about it is that pet to tank, so you can just kind of sit back and don't worry about somebody coming after you unless you do too much damage.
Drawing no aggro is beautiful. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep messing around with that. I've been real busy with getting this Twitch stuff up and running this weekend and doing some other work for the show. So
There we go.
I'll get back to it though next weekend. I think. I got these dudes who, for some reason, play on a PvP server that I want to play with.
It does. It literally means nothing. PvP means that in contested territories, if you come across a guy, they can fight you. But that's only after a certain level. And because everyone's already high levels, you rarely get that.
Yeah.
You really get it more towards end game when people are just like, today I'm going to be a dick. And then they go around. But for the most part, it's pretty quiet on that front.
Yeah, I guess the part that always bothered me was like when I'm trying to like do my shit and do my quest, the last thing I want to do is be bothered by some dude who just has a hate boner for me and just is like, murder kill. Haha.
That used to happen. That used to be a thing that would happen, but they made it so until you hit a certain level. It used to be you had to activate the PvP that you were going to be able to play PvP, but I think after a certain level they activate it for you, and then you can get ganked. But they pretty much got rid of that.
Okay.
I mean, you're just trying to go around questing, especially since questing was so hard back then, and then someone just comes in and one-shots you. It's like, oh, that's great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I made a couple characters over on the Arthas server, so I made a warrior and I made a druid, and I played neither of them. So I was just trying to look through my options, see like what other combinations I could build and try, and so I'll play around with both of them and try to figure out if I like one of them more than the hunter.
Definitely, as an intro race, definitely try the goblin.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything with the goblin that really suited what I wanted to do, so I ended up not making a goblin.
Don't they have goblin warriors?
Yeah, I didn't want to be a goblin warrior. I don't know.
It's too small.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a goblin. I'll shoot stuff.
That's pretty much what I have. The two goblins I have: goblin mage and a goblin shaman.
Oh yeah, I saw when I was like scrolling through all the options, the shaman had like the little mechanized bastard hanging out behind him.
The totem.
Yeah,
the totem. Oh, that's the other cool thing they did. They made the totems race specific, so they're not just kind of the same thing over and over again, which is pretty nice. So the goblins get the mechanical totems, which look pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I thought it looked pretty neat. I was like, damn, I might have to try that.
They do that with
I
druids.
really don't have any interest in playing a shaman, so all that spiritual stuff does not do it for me, man.
Oh man, it's good stuff. Shamans are fun.
Hey, let somebody else do it. I'm sure it's somebody's thing. It's just not mine. Okay. Well, yeah, guys, you're listening to the Collective Gamescast, the internet's worst WoW podcast.
There it is.
Yeah. Other than WoW, let me think. This week, I played Phantasy Star Online a little bit.
All right.
Really losing steam with that at this point, but if I catch a happy hour, I'm jumping right on that,
Mm-hmm.
So, picked up another V101 unit. That was cool. And that was pretty much the highlight of my week. I played one happy hour and got one awesome item.
Damn.
Yeah, so that worked. Efficiency. And I played Mega Man 5. Because I just had this, itch to play a Mega Man game again. So, yeah, so I started playing Mega Man 5. Now, what you have to know about this one, Chris, is that in Mega Man 5, there's these letters hidden throughout each stage. And in the 8 stages, you can find all the letters for Mega Man, and then the 5, as a Roman numeral V. So there's one of the 8 is in each stage. Since I was a kid, I could not ever find the letter in Stone Man's stage.
Interesting.
So I started playing it again, and I got the snowman stage, and I beat it, and I still couldn't find it. And I was like, what did I miss? Where is it? So finally, I was like, you know what? I'm YouTubing it. It's been like 20 years. It's about time I find this damn thing. you know. And I haven't exactly put great effort into finding it either, but, never came across it on my own. So I YouTube it. Oh, it's behind a hidden wall that it blows up when you shoot it.
Oh, wow.
Never thought to do that.
That's the worst.
That is not a common trick in the Mega Man games. As a matter of fact, that's the only time I can ever remember that through the first 5 games being the case.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, now I know where to find it, but I got to start over now to get it because I'm already past Stone Man on my save. So,
oh man.
So I got really far along in it, and now I have to start over. Yeah. So, having fun with it though. It's still classic Mega Man, and it's one of the later games because like as the Mega Man games go along, I played them less and less.
Okay.
Like I probably didn't play 1 a ton, but I played a lot of 2, a lot of 3, a lot of 4, and then like 5 and tails off, and then 6 it really tails off, and after that I stopped playing the series. So yeah. So getting back into that, and I'll mess around with that here and there. Get that Mega Man fix. I was in that mood for that kind of challenge,
I don't know if I'm ever in a mood for that challenge.
It's not that hard. You just got to get used to it. Yeah, you just got to be playing. You got to be in that NES mindset if you're going to get, smacked around a lot.
That's the case there, yeah.
Trust me, if that wasn't popular, we wouldn't have the Soul series.
Very true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, anything else for you to talk about for what you did this week, man?
Non-game related, I've watched 12 of the 13 episodes of House of Cards.
Damn. That is a Netflix binge, sir.
Yes, it is.
Hey, being here right now must be killing you. You probably want to finish that up.
No, I just want to eat. No, man, that show is amazing. Like the first half of the 4th season made up for how dull the 3rd one was. Like it's split into kind of like 2 acts, so you kind of get the first part, and then the second part is a completely different. I don't know, I guess problem that they're solving, and it's so well written, so much imagery, so many like subtle things that they do that they come back to later on. Oh man, it's if you haven't watched it, I advise you to watch it.
Yeah, well, you know what happened. See, that was one of them things I have wanted to watch for a while, and I can't seem to get Mrs. Malgadar to want to watch it with me. So I think I'm, much like most of my sex life, I'm gonna have to go solo on this one.
Oh God.
Hello, Twitch. The Malgadar's here.
Oh man.
And that was a total lie, anyway. Not true.
Oh yeah, going back on it. That's cool. No worries, man. No worries.
I'm just saying, like, I will totally lie for a joke. It's cool. Not a problem. Yeah.
If you ever get the chance to start that, it's good.
Yeah, like I said, I've wanted to. I heard it tails off, but that's kind of every show, isn't it? I mean, what show? The only show that gets better with age is It's Always Sunny.
Not necessarily. Yeah, that is true. But no, it doesn't. See, the first season was just like blown away, right? The second season starts off like bam, but it's still really good. The third season, you know how when you watch a trilogy, the first movie is always like what, and then the second movie is always like okay, but you understand why they did it that way. It's kind of setting up for the awesome third movie. Well, I feel like the third season was pretty much setting up everything to happen in the 4th season, and it does. So you kind of just like, all right, I get it, but it's not bad. It's worth watching the 3rd season.
Okay.
Yeah, but man,
it seems like the 4th season's holding up too because you're like steamrolling that shit.
I tried to stop. I tried to, man.
It's like I was gonna stop just one more level.
Yeah. It's just too good. It's very
Oh
good.
man, yeah. Um, I've been Netflixing too, but this is gonna be weird. I'm going back in the time machine, man. I've been watching Cheers on Netflix.
Cheers is on Netflix, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. It just popped up one day, and I was like, hey, I remember this.
Yeah, Cheers and Frasier are quality old school shows. I guess
Well,
from the 90s.
actually, the run between the two shows is like 22 years. So,
Wow.
yeah. So
Wow.
I mean, that's a long time to be continuous in the game, you know.
Both of those shows are the type of shows that I wish Netflix had like a random button
Yes.
so you could just watch random episodes.
Shuffle. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't really need all of them back to back like that. You can watch them whenever you want.
Yeah, you know what I wish they had it for? Really, for shows that I've watched all the episodes before and just kind of want to like enjoy something from it again, but instead of having to go through all of them and like, oh, I'll watch that. Like, just hit me with something at random, you know?
It's Always Sunny needs that.
Yeah, but see, that's the part of the problem is you need like that shuffle link too.
What do you mean?
If you get like a continuation episode, I don't want it to
Oh,
shuffle to something else. I want it to know it's part of a continuation episode and play the continuation.
yes.
I always said I hate that on shuffle for my music player. You know, like if there's certain songs that have to be connected and played together. You know,
Yep.
and you need to let me establish those chains, and there's no way to do that. It bothers me. It bothers me, Chris. All right, just I'm a little eccentric. It's cool.
It's all
I'm
right,
not gonna
man.
be okay, but it's cool.
Everything will be okay. Relax.
As I smash my monitor with my face or something.
Dude, not that monitor.
No,
But please, not that one.
not the 4K. We can't.
I'll
do
cry a little bit
that. Yeah.
for the monitor.
No, but it was funny that I was watching Cheers, right? Because we're going to Boston. And what does Keith say to me the other day when I'm telling him I'm heading up to Boston? Oh, you should go to Cheers. And I was like, oh, you know what? I wonder if it's still the same. I mean, it's been like 30 years now. I wonder, like...
Does it actually exist?
Yeah, it's an actual bar.
Interesting.
I'm just like, how the same is it at this point? You know, if they preserved it or if they moved on, you know?
They got to preserve it.
I would hope.
You got to preserve it until the people who grew up around that time.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
That's awesome.
one of my stops.
Of course.
While we're up there.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a real bar.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want them to make a South Street Patty's Pub.
Oh man, that'd be so great. I would so go there.
Yep. Just to get stabbed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I haven't really watched anything else on Netflix other than that, so.
I just got information that you can apparently go to the Cheers bar in Fallout 4.
Oh yeah, I never did that in the game.
I did not know you could do that.
Yeah, I had heard that and forgot to go and do it.
Well, that might give me a reason to boot that up again.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get back to that, man. I just don't really have a reason to play it.
Expansion's not out yet.
No, nothing's out yet.
Yep.
Give me something. Give me a reason to go back.
Give me back my DLCs, man.
Add a few new trophies. That'll get me back in there right quick.
I'm sure they'll do that with the DLCs. At least I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trophies will definitely have it. One of the things I like, and I don't know if they fixed this on the Xbox One. I'll have to boot mine up and actually see, but it's neat on the PlayStation with the trophies, right? You get your 100% for beating the game and getting all the trophies. But then when the expansions come out, you don't have 100% anymore.
Okay.
But you still have your platinum.
Okay, because you got the original one.
Yeah, because the platinum's tied to the original game and its trophies, not to the DLC trophies. So
Okay.
I always liked that because on the Xbox, it used to drive me crazy when I would lose my 100% when like the DLC would come out. Especially for things like where I never finished a DLC because I didn't get one or two trophies.
Yeah.
You know. So it's cool on the PS4, well, on the PlayStation, because if you don't go and get all the DLC trophies, you still at least have the platinum trophy.
Ah.
So you lose your 100%, but you got the collector's piece, you know.
You did all the hard work. You deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like that. Makes me feel better if I don't finish the DLCs up. Alright, well, I don't want to be here all night, so let's move on to some of the news items we wanted to talk about here.
All right.
Big one, man. Big one. We didn't get to this one. Activision will not be at E3.
Very surprising.
Now, we were just talking about this one of the last two episodes about EA not going to be at E3. And, you know, I was saying with all the developers having all their own, like, you got the, like, PlayStation experience now, you know, and you got all the other cons that, you know, get out there with fans. And all the big companies like EA, Ubi, and Activision could clearly do their own thing if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like as soon as EA pulled away, it looked like this could be trouble for E3. You know, because like Sony doesn't really have to stick around; they got their own event now. You know,
Sony, Nintendo does their own
yeah,
thing.
Nintendo's got their directs. Like Microsoft's the only one who really isn't doing their own thing. So,
Which is surprising.
Well, Major Nelson blogs. I mean, come on.
Oh,
What else do you need?
Always on those.
Walls of text. I mean, that's what we're all about these days. Like nobody likes
Course. I watched a Major Nelson stream. He was doing State of Decay, right, with the developers, and it was the clunkiest thing ever. I'm pretty sure they had no idea what they were doing. Like, I wonder if it was the first one or if they even tested it out. But it was like it was just the weirdest thing watching it. It was like, I'm listening to these guys. They're talking good stuff. But the way the stream was working, it was like, it was jumpy. They didn't know when to, like, switch screens. They didn't know how to switch screens. Like, it was just bad. Just an all-out bad one. And I was like, come on, guys. I know you're Microsoft. Like,
Yeah, man, that kind of sucks.
you got game developers there. I'm sure they know something, right? Yeah, it was bad. Not terrible, but it was definitely, there were some points where you're just like, come on, guys. You can do better. But apparently that's the thing now. I feel like that's a trend with streaming. Like, some people know how to do the cuts, some people don't know how to do the cuts, the different scenes. It's just accepted. We just want the information. That's all we're here for. As long as I get the audio, I'm good.
That's not right, man. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but Activision pulling away now makes me think like it's only a matter of time. Like maybe not for this year, but
there's going to be a lot
may
more
pull away.
coming out. Yep.
Actually, the other interesting part of that was that Bethesda's coming back.
That is interesting.
Yeah, like I thought last year was kind of a one-off occurrence. Like it was the culmination of a bunch of projects all falling together at the same time. You know,
it's weird though because Bethesda doesn't really have to do a show.
Yeah, right. Like they're one of the people who can just be like, "Hey, we'll just tweet about it. You guys, word of mouth gets around about our games."
Yeah, that's how it is. You hear
they rock star it. You know,
that's pretty much it. They've already got the names going. Fallout, Elder Scrolls. People are going to hop on that.
Yeah,
so quickly. People are looking for the sequel before like a week after the game comes out.
Wolfenstein too. Like don't look past those either. You know.
Yeah, forget about Doom.
Yeah. Okay, Dishonored, they might need to do a little bit of a hype for, but, you know.
There's a small following.
Yeah. Well, I remember the first game had a good ad campaign. I was tempted to buy it because I saw the commercials. I was like, what the hell is this game? It looks awesome.
TV commercials made that game look like first-person parkour done right with guns and knives and spells.
No,
it was like what Mirror's Edge could have been. Edge, I should have said.
Mirror's Age.
Mirror's Age.
Mirror on the wall. How fucking old are you?
Yeah, Mirror's Edge was, I feel like was a precursor to them doing Dishonored. It was perfect. And the second one looks like it's the same thing, just with the female character who everyone's speculating is the daughter of Corvo. Was
Yeah,
that his name?
they've been putting that image around of her nice and wet too. Like, look at what our engine can do. Yeah. Like,
Phrase
yep.
it, man.
I don't know how else you want me to put it, man. You know. Sorry. This is video games we're talking about. You know.
Yeah.
Selling them like that's been pretty popular ever since ever since Lara Croft and her three-dimensional boobies showed up. You know.
Oh, that was it. That was, and then
That was like that was the event Horizon. You know.
and then Japan took it and was like, "Oh, dude, guess what, guys? We have this fighting game. Why don't we make a sort of sequel where it's just the girls on a beach playing volleyball?"
You had to bring up Dead or Alive, didn't you? The game you could play with one hand if you wanted. That couldn't have been an accident, sir. It just could not have been.
I was reading reviews and people were all like, "Dude, this game is so dumb. Like, there's no point of it." And one guy was like, "Come on, man. Sometimes we just like to watch the beautiful girls jump up and down and do stupid things. Like, why can't we enjoy this too?"
Yeah, I remember me and Yogi were playing that game, and my wife came home and saw us playing, and she's like, "What the hell is this?" And I just shook my head. I was like, "Hon, I could try to explain it, but it's just gonna look bad either way." You know. I left it at that.
I was excited too. I heard there was like, "Oh, it's a new Dead or Alive." I was like, "Oh, this could be cool. Let's see what they got going on." And then I saw which version of it was. I was like, "Oh, okay."
That's not the game I was looking for.
That's not. Maybe if I go to a friend's house and he's got it, we might pop it in. But I'll probably never ever buy that game.
It was actually a decent volleyball game, though. I'll say that about it.
The beach volleyball was good. They have these new ones which are just like beach Olympics, I guess is what we're gonna call it. They just have like a bunch of mini games of the girls doing stupid stuff and like you know.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not shying away from the whole sex appeal thing. Like, that's the only reason why those sell.
I can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to defend that. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. It's pixelated boobies bouncing up and down.
Okay. Anyway, how did we get here, man? Like,
I don't know.
We just wandered off into the dark alley.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so EA's out, Activision's out, Bethesda's in again.
Good.
Now, I still keep thinking Nintendo's going to show up at E3 this year because
take that EA spot, show off their NX.
Maybe they gotta come, right? Because they got the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll probably do a direct like a couple weeks out. Like, remember last year when Bethesda had everybody kind of thought Fallout was going to be the big announcement.
Yep.
And like 2 weeks out, I think it was, they started showing the Fallout stuff. Like, hey, at our press conference, it's going to be about Fallout.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think Nintendo's going to kind of do the same thing, right? They're going to kind of say, like, hey, this is the NX, this is what it's going to look like, because they want to control the message and get out in front of anybody who slips any pictures at E3, Because you got all the dudes setting up the stage. There's ways for stuff to get leaked out early.
Yeah.
Like, think about last year when they were setting up the Fallout 4 stage. Any dude working on that could just snap a picture of it on his phone and send it out to the internet. Surprise, ruined.
Yep.
So it would make sense if Nintendo probably leaks something out like a little bit ahead of E3. Then at E3 they actually come out and they do the big presentation. They tell us about it. They tell us what it's going to cost, the launch date, if it's coming out this year like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it would seem a good year for them to come back.
They're going to show us that the NX is just an amiibo generator. It's like a 3D printing amiibo machine.
No,
That's
maybe it could be powered by amiibos, right? Like, you have to put a new one on every hour or it shuts itself off. Like, definitely possible.
Man. Yep. And it can't be the same one that was used in the past 6 hours. So you have to keep buying new ones.
You know what? You can't just put the amiibo on. You have to put the amiibo on and then enter its like 40-digit friend code. Because God forbid if we don't do it in the clunkiest manner possible.
Clunky is Nintendo's way, man. Look at their
Well,
controllers. It's all about
uh,
clunk.
we're gonna be talking about the controllers later, but remind me, I got some, you know, favorite game controllers from some of our audience to mention.
All right.
Yeah, so there's some interesting ones in there, and there's a clunky controller in there.
I prefer the Mad Catz Turbo 3 for the
Oh God,
PS1.
yeah, lots of people had those things, didn't they? Lots of Mad Catz controllers back in the day. Now you
Poor
can't even find them things. Do they even exist anymore?
Nah, they're just game pads and joysticks for fighting games now, and they're really good.
Yeah, yeah, fighting sticks is a good little sub area to get into because the big companies don't seem to be interested in doing them.
Which is weird, but I guess it makes sense. It's who you target. They're targeting all the people that are competing, or people who think they're competing. Whereas the bigger companies realize the money is where the general public is.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I can see that.
Niche field, man.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to see Nintendo pop up at E3 and
I'm kind of hoping they do.
yeah. You wanted to say something now about the what was it? The Microsoft
Oh yeah, their whole
anomalous monopoly.
pretty much about how they released information that they're going to make a PC console hybrid, where they're going to turn the Xbox One into that. And really, all it is in the future when they make new generations of Xbox One, they'll be able to upgrade the hardware, and then that any game that comes out for Xbox or PC will be able to play on both consoles. So I guess, or both systems. So I'm guessing this is a way to make it so PC gamers can get some of the exclusives that are on Xbox and vice versa. And it's just their way of trying to unify all their devices. So Xbox, PC, tablets, phones will all be able to use the same thing. It's interesting. I don't think it's going to hurt them. I know there's people already speculating. I read some blogs of some guys really, they getting away from console gamers. And it's like, no, it's not hurting console gamers in any way. Like, it's the only thing it's doing is adding to PC. PC gamers can hardly get certain games if they're exclusives, and a lot of times companies don't want to make ports.
Yeah, how many times have you played the Uncharted games?
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Yeah.
Uncharted, Destiny is another one. Destiny is like the one that I hold a big grudge for. Like,
trust me, you're not missing much.
I would have at least liked to experience it. I'm like, dude, this game looks like it'd be perfect on PC. Like, this is great. Nope.
Yeah.
It's an MMO, man. Come on.
Don't get me started on Destiny again. That game hurts me. Hurts me deep, man.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't think it's going to hurt them in the gaming market. It's either going to stay the same and they won't sell any more consoles, or they'll just keep at the same rate that they're going at, or it's going to be better because people are going to realize, like, oh, I can do PC and Xbox stuff. Like, this is great. I don't have to sit at the Xbox if I don't want to. I don't have to sit at my PC if I don't want to. It's kind of a nice feel, unless they don't have like a Xbox, specifically an Xbox keyboard and mouse combo that they sell. That could be an issue if they don't do that. But other than that, I think it's good, man. I think they got something good going on.
I don't know what to make of it. It seems like there's a lot of people upset about it, but that's like everything anymore.
Yeah, dude.
But
the people who are upset are the ones
Epic
speaking
Games,
out.
throwing a shit fit about it though. That was kind of surprising to me.
Epic was, huh?
Yeah, basically saying
I can see developers having a shit fit, and the reason why is because Xbox or Microsoft wants them to develop the game for both Xbox and PC. So instead of making a PC port or an Xbox port, it's for one. And I think that causes some issues. especially considering PCs vary from different hardware specs. Um, I can see that being an issue, but other than that, I mean, I'm not in that world, so I can't tell you why they feel that way. But that's my that's my guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I'll say that because I'm very undecided at this point, which makes me an uninteresting topical person, I guess. But I just don't really
Yeah,
know what to make of it. I feel like there could be a lot of good out of it and a lot of bad, and I don't know.
I think the bad just comes from developers. I think the good is that I can actually play some of the Xbox exclusives. You know?
Well, see, this is the thing that's been bothering me for a long time. With Microsoft, in recent history, they've been trying to make this like amalgamous like system where your phone and your PC and your Xbox are all the same thing. They're all running the same, OS and everything.
Yeah,
I hate that idea. I
I
hate it.
love it. I
It's
love it.
terrible. It's the worst idea ever
It's like
because
it's like Google. Google does it. Apple does it. Why doesn't Microsoft do it?
no, because there are strengths to each one that you can't take advantage of when you try to homogenize them into one thing. Like, basically, what you get is everything is weaker. And
Mm,
like, what I would prefer is something more like this. You create an OS that can easily communicate between all these devices, that's built around that kind of functionality, but that allows each device to do what it does best.
and I think that's what their plan is.
Well, it certainly
But
failed, like, you know,
oh,
I don't
dude,
know. It
we're
felt like a
talking
meteor with Windows 8. So
we're talking about Windows 8. That was a dumb thing. Like they didn't even change it. It's the same on every system. Like they didn't make it so like Windows would still look like Windows. No, they made it look like a tablet. Everything was a tablet.
yeah,
It's
now
like it's not everyone has a touch screen on their desktop, so you need to make it so it's normal. But yeah,
yeah,
they screwed that up. I hope that they're planning to move. Their move into the future is more that the software is universal, similar to how websites are responsive to different monitor sizes and different browsers, which makes more work for the developers, but it makes it easier for the consumers. So I'm hoping that it works out that way.
okay. I hope it works
But
that easily.
Microsoft has not done anything easy, so we'll see.
Okay. Anything else in the news you want to bring up?
Um, No Man's Sky got a date, June
Yeah. All
21st.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finally, I can start spreading my seed throughout the universe.
Oh boy.
What? It's just gonna say the underscore Malgadar on like every planet I can touch.
Oh
I'm not
man.
exploring shit. I'm just putting my name everywhere.
At some point, everyone's like, "Fuck this guy."
Actually,
Who is?
I should make a new PSN account with like some kind of advertisement on it. You know.
That's what I'm saying. Viral marketing, right
Yeah,
there.
right. Can I
Every
get
planet
like,
says
yo,
Verizon
Sprunk,
Wireless
hit
on it.
me up. You know.
Every planet is a new ad. Oh man.
Oh man, I can't wait to see this. You know.
Shop Amazon.
Yeah.
Verizon Wireless. Like, oh god damn it.
Planet discovered by Nuka Cola. Now, actually, if this is going to be realistic, it would just say like fucking DraftKings on every planet.
DraftKings, Comcast everywhere.
Oh man. No, Xfinity. They don't call themselves
Oh,
Comcast anymore.
I'm so
That's a
sorry.
dirty
It's
word.
it's Xfinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Anyway.
man.
Yeah. No, that'll be cool though. No
I'm
Man's
ex-
Sky has been a fascination of mine for a while now, so I'll be
it's
very curious to see it.
it's just a beautiful looking game, but I mean, anything space, you got me. It's
Yeah, I like my sci-fi. I'm with you. You know, I can't wait to see what the gameplay actually is. You know.
that's what I'm saying. We've been seeing the same video for I don't know how many months. It's like I want to see
Let's
the
try
gameplay.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, this is also true.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be excited to see it. We'll see what happens. You know. Um, oh, the other thing. I knew there was one more thing I wanted to bring up. Mass Effect is not happening this year.
Mm, it's probably for the good.
That makes the Malgadar sad.
At the same time, I trust BioWare to do it right. You know. So at the
True.
same,
I want it
I'm
to be
like,
a good game.
it's going to be a complete game. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But for EA to allow that is a little odd. Like,
Uh,
take another year. Don't worry about it.
I feel like BioWare is pretty autonomous within that. So
I hope so.
yeah, I feel more like they're just like a EA's like a profit vacuum. They leave the switch in the on position and take the money as it comes in.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that seems to be all they do anymore.
Except with Battlefront.
Well, that was a rush job. I mean,
Yeah.
we all kind of knew that, though. I think people got their hopes set a little too high, thinking they could turn that thing around that fast. So,
Oh, I mean, in reality, they already had a Battlefront 3 in the works. But granted, this was on older systems. They already had one going. I think it was for 360 and PS3. So if you're going to acquire it, you could at least borrow something from that. But it's a beautiful looking game, but they really kind of skimped on everything else.
Well, I don't know. I had a little bit of fun when I played it, but it just the multiplayer only kind of thing just isn't really my style.
That's the thing. I want a story.
Yeah.
That's why Titanfall failed. Everyone's like, "Where's my story? Where's my single player action? None of it."
Yeah. Yeah, Valve kind of fell down the same hole, right? I mean, that was also the asynchronous multiplayer, though, so that's a little different, but
What?
A lot of games that want to do that, though.
I think
get it.
they know that replayability comes from multiplayer. Like, if you have a good multiplayer, everyone's going to play it. And they're going to keep playing. I mean, you can see it with FPS, you see it with MMOs. It's constant replayability. So people are always going to be playing a game, maybe even talking about it all the time. The single player does nothing. It just requires you to create a story, and then if you don't take time creating a good story, then people are just going to bash the game for that story. So you kind of just let people play the multiplayer because that's what you made, and just let it go. I get it, but it's lazy, man. It's extremely lazy, especially if I'm paying 60 players for a multiplayer experience. It's like, or $60 for a multiplayer experience. Like,
well,
get out of here,
especially
man.
now because you can get Call of Duty multiplayer only for $15.
I saw that. I was like, good job, guys. Good job.
Which is funny. I thought it would have been the other way around, right? Like, I thought it would have been $15 for story mode, or campaign, and 45 if you wanted, the multiplayer stuff.
Well, they did it. Well, when they released the game, they had the older generation consoles. They were all $40, if I recall.
Yeah, they had no campaign.
And yeah, I guess adding that single player was only $10 or $20. I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially because it's $15 on PC that you can get.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I'm assuming the strategy is that you get people in the door for $15 and then they buy the DLCs and all that stuff.
I'm thinking that's what's up because the DLC just came out not too long ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that stuff's rolling. I'd have to ask my son. He's all over that game. Actually, no, he's not. This week he's been playing The Escapists.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, that is a weird game. I like it. I like the idea though.
I've seen it. It pops up on Steam a lot, and I just never really got into it. See what it was like.
Yeah, he's telling me about all these elaborate plans he's putting together for his prison break. I'm like,
Oh, now this sounds fun already.
Yeah, like this is just crazy, man. You know.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. He's always telling me about all the crazy stuff. He said he's trying to make a paper mache version of himself to fool the guards, to make them think that he's still in the jail cell. You know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
can you picture if that happened in real life?
Oh god, that would be the best.
The best news story, man.
Media, man. It'd be great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, we were fooled again. Goddamn paper mache dolls. Just banned from all prisons.
Yeah. No paper mache and no origami. Fuck paper. We're done with that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Alright, Chris. Enough with news and our lives and all that. So let's get on with things here.
Topic of the night.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk game controllers, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Xbox 360.
So, we're only talking about keyboard and mouse.
Actually, one of our listeners wrote in and said keyboard and mouse is their favorite controller. I was like, okay, thank you, Power Gamer 420. Yeah.
420. Yep.
Yeah.
The classic number.
Yeah. So let me go through a few of these here. I'll just get the ones that got sent to us. We got one that said Xbox One or PS4.
Lame.
You know what? That was my initial thought too. But think about this, right? If the idea is supposed to be the controllers keep getting better, then there would be an argument to be made that the ones we have right now are the best ones.
This is true. So, there is an argument to make, but in my opinion,
my initial thoughts of hating that suggestion quickly went away when I started thinking about it more. I was like, well, okay, I can see that.
That's like a theory, like in theory this works, but no.
This also isn't 6 months into the console generation. I mean, we're like 3 years in now, so I mean, it's not like these are Johnny-come-latelys. I mean, people have been using them for a couple years now, so yeah.
True.
We got another one that said old school NES.
This is good. This is good. This is both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah, so now we went the complete other way.
Minus the fact that it was indestructible and you could probably kill somebody with it.
Yeah, I think if I ran that shit over with my car would get damaged. That controller was a beast. Yeah. Oh, we got one. This one hits me right in the heart, man. The NES Advantage.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Really?
Yeah. Oh, that thing was beautiful, man. That was the original arcade stick. Well, the consoles.
Okay. I get that.
Yeah. So, once I got that was what I used all the time. Because using the joystick, right, didn't hurt like pressing down on that D-pad for real long did. So you could game a lot longer.
Ah, that's true. I get that.
Yeah. So.
It was so big.
It was a big bastard to keep in your lap.
Yeah, it was huge. Like, I would need a desk to play it on. So then I might as well just buy a keyboard and mouse and play on PC. You know what I'm saying?
That ain't that big, but okay. Yeah. It's not the GameCube keyboard controller combo.
Jeez.
Yeah, that thing. I actually have one of those.
Why?
Well, I was playing Phantasy Star on GameCube. I needed a keyboard.
The thing is ridiculous.
Yeah. I'll have to bring it into work so you can see it. It's awesome.
Oh, I'm looking at the picture right now, man.
Yeah.
This is insane.
It is. Yeah.
Like, why would they need the extra, like, buttons on the side? Like, why would you play like that?
Well, you know what else is funny? We, at times, had to use that as a fourth controller when we played four-player GameCube games. And whoever got that would always be so pissed. Like, God, I want this thing!
That's almost as bad as the Mad Catz controller, man. Hey, here's this 50-pound thing.
At least, though, this is an official controller. Like, it meets all, like, Nintendo specs for the controller. So it works, it's responsive. You know, you
So,
just have to have like a 9-foot wingspan to use it.
so Microsoft, if you hear me, this is what you need to do for your PC
Yeah,
console
right?
hybrid. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
man.
man.
No, you know what? Just take a keyboard, slap 2 analog sticks on it, call it a day.
There you go, man. You win. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
We got one other one here I wanted to bring up. Oh, no, two. Sorry. We got GameCube.
Okay.
Can't argue with GameCube. That thing, ergonomically, maybe the best ever.
That C button though. That C
God.
was like 8 direction crap that they decided was a good idea.
Yeah, terrible.
Yep, and the X and the what was it?
No, I think you're thinking of the Z button. They have two shoulder buttons L and R. Then they have the
Yep.
Z button on one side and nothing on the other side.
Nothing on the other side, and then right above. Let me see. What am I thinking?
The X and Y, like the kidney shaped ones.
Yeah,
On the
right above
sides of
the A and
button.
B.
And then you have
Yeah.
the tiny ass B button. Yeah.
It,
And the D-pad that was so small you couldn't even find it. I mean, that thing was a midget D-pad. What the hell were they thinking there?
it just kind of dropped off the side there.
Yeah. That being said, though, ergonomically, that is still one of the best controllers to hold in your hands.
This is true.
Like, it just fits. And they gave us the Wavebird. You're talking about a Bluetooth controller, like back in '04. That's beautiful, man.
Mm-hmm.
No, not '04. My timing's off there. What was that? 2001, 2002? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's early adoption of Bluetooth, and that thing was solid. Wireless controllers were here to stay after that, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so... Oh, and the last one we got was the Wii U gamepad. So...
I want to know who sent that and what kind of drugs they are on.
They said that they liked it because they can see things on the screen and see things on the TV. And that they like the versatility to play games on the gamepad screen.
I like that second note. The first one, I don't know if I want to be looking up and down all the time. You know.
It depends on if it's good application, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that ability to use two screens, pretty interesting.
That's it. I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot of Nintendo right there. It's just it's interesting.
When they do it, it's really good. Other people just don't take advantage of it, though. Other developers can never seem to find ways to make it work.
That's true. I get that. I got one. PS3. The PS3 was at the DualShock 3?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, the 6-axis and then the DualShock 3.
Yes. I got that one. Or the wireless version of it. I think they're all wireless.
Yeah. Well, the original one, the 6-axis, they put like the motion controls in it and everything. And
I like that.
They took the rumble out. So.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, the following year they came out with the DualShock 3, which was the same thing, but then they had added the rumble back in.
See, I got it late, so I only remember the 6-axis with the rumble. But I like that some games kind of used it. That was kind of cool.
Well, the 6-axis, the one thing you got to remember about that, it is the lightest game controller I've ever used. Like, it's amazing how light this thing is. Like, all I can tell you is I gave it to my buddy Dick Pierce, and he threw it out of his hand. He said, that thing's too light, get it away from me. Like, he couldn't use it.
Overtime, what was his name?
Dick Pierce. What?
How did he get through school, man?
Very torturedly through grade school. And then in high school, it was like a cool thing.
It's a cool name. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, Richie, hit us up, man. Let's do a show together.
Dick Pierce. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, good dude. Slept out with me, waiting for the Wii to launch.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, I got another one.
Okay.
It was the Xbox One.
Oh, really?
Xbox One controller. Yep.
Some people like the new ones, man. That's
Yeah.
okay. I kind of
I
do
get,
too. I'm kind of a fan of the DualShock
I,
4.
I get it. I get it now. I can see the. I can see why people would like it. I know I've had the Xbox One controller. I didn't think there was any much different than the 360, but that's just me.
All right. Well, the Xbox One I don't like as much as the 360 because it's got like it's a little clickier, and they kind of made the edges like more jagged, whereas I preferred when they were rounded. But all in all, it's pretty close to the same. The stupid button iterations, like with the lines and the two windows, and instead of like back and start, I don't get that. Why not just call them back and start? That worked.
Because technology has changed, my friend. You need those 3 lines or 3 or 4 lines to represent the menu. It's like it's all over the place.
Yeah, I know, because symbols. We're going back to symbols. What is
It's
this?
truth,
Ancient
man.
Egypt? Like, come on, man. It's like fucking emojis. Like, what the fuck? We're communicating by symbol again.
Humans
I thought we already
recognize
determined
patterns.
that this was not the best way to communicate, and that's why we made words. Like,
Yeah, that's
now,
what we thought. We thought
yeah.
words was the best way, but we realized it's actually images, man.
Oh, so we just spent thousands of years as dumbasses. Great. I feel so much better about our society as a whole.
Everybody wants that quick information, and images give you the quick information when you can recognize them.
Yeah.
And humans are extraordinary with pattern recognition. So there you go, man.
Yeah, but now you know what the new problem's going to be. They put one crying emoji. Are they really sad, or is that a joke?
Oh, you can't tell because it looks
well,
like the laughing one too.
three crying emojis means it's an emergency, and two crying emojis means they're really sad, but one crying emoji means it's just a joke, like they're not actually sad. Like the layers of trying to like understand. It's like the fucking Da Vinci Code, man. Like,
Oh man, I will never use emojis. Only as like an ironic joke.
oh, that being said, I use them all the time. It's just a matter of, I'm just breaking down that there's something wrong in there too. But guilty, you know. So, yeah.
Just learn the code, man. It's easy. You learned English. Learn the emoji code.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to learn another language. That's time I could be spending gaming.
Very true. Very true.
Anyway, so other controllers. You want to talk offshoots, or you want to talk some more core controllers?
We'll start with the core ones then.
All right. Well, we already talked the NES controller. We
Yep.
talked the NES Advantage. I got to throw a quick shout out to the NES Max controller because that thing was a flaming pile of garbage. And whatever jackass at Nintendo designed that thing, I hope he gets hit by a car.
Poor dude, man.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't the guy who actually got hit by a car because that would just make me a dick.
That would be the worst, man. The lead designer of the NES Max died by a car accident.
Yeah.
Whew.
That would be rough. Well, maybe he can just choke on his seaweed or something. I don't know.
Japanese stereotypes. Seaweed. Yeah, that makes sense. All
I
right.
like seaweed. It's good stuff. Anyway, me so done with this conversation.
Before we move generations, you can't forget about the Power Glove.
Oh God, how did I forget the Power Glove? That abomination. Actually, let's murder that dude first, and then get back to the NES Max guy. Yeah.
Dude, the Power Glove made people think they were cool. All right.
Yeah, people thought it was going to be like, I'm in the game. And it was like, this fucking thing doesn't work.
How do you use it?
Yeah. Nobody knows. It's like Nier on PlayStation Vita. Nobody knows how to use it.
Like, if someone told me that I was going to model the Power Glove, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
What
I'll
if they
find
paid
another
you to
job.
stream with it?
I'd do it now because it's like an ironic thing. But like beforehand, I'd be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, see, that's like a documentary kind of thing where like you got to videotape like somebody trying to figure out how to use the power glove. You know, you
Yes,
gotta like
that'd be the
hide
best
behind the
kind of
couch though
scene.
so they don't see you when they start raging. You know, just watch them there, like kind of like the orangutan trying to figure out the Rubik's cube. You know, like yeah, it's like Patrick from SpongeBob. That's pretty much what you turn into when confronted with that device. You know.
Oh man, I kind of want to see if I could buy one just so I can play with it.
Yeah, right. What are they going for on eBay these days?
I don't know, man. Got to give that a shot. Let me check it out. $60, $70, $80. Oh,
It's a little pricey, but they're probably hard to find these days.
I would assume so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure people have thrown them in fires.
Have
Definitely
been for a
burnt these
long time
things.
too, I'm sure. Okay, so from NES, how about right to SNES? Or you got the SNES controller.
Yep, I like the SNES controller.
I like the SNES controller too. It doesn't really do a lot, like super different than the NES. I mean, you get the 4 face buttons. You get shoulder buttons, not to be overlooked. Definitely a good idea.
Very true.
Didn't use them for shit on the SNES, but they were there.
I can't remember what. There's a few games that used them to like.
Right?
Was it F-Zero?
think
F-Zero
F-Zero
used it in
used
actual gameplay.
Yeah.
There were some side scrollers that would use them to like shift the screen back and forth.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, the SNES probably one of the more unremarkable Nintendo controllers.
But I will say that it did come out with the whole 4-button layout that everyone uses today.
Yeah, but they had the horrible naming convention that they still use to this day on Nintendo ones.
BAYX.
Yeah, actually, no, they did. I think they fixed that now, as I'm trying to remember what the Wii U one is like. But my God, that drove me crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Like, Microsoft has it right with the ABXY thing. Like, thank you. That's, you know. I think it has to do with something with the way we read, you know. Because I think they do the right to left and we do the left to right, so it probably explains it.
I'm going to let you know that the Wii U does not change.
Oh, it is still the same layout?
It's still the same, yep.
Tells you how much I've used my Wii U. Huh?
Yep, it's still the same.
Oh, God. Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so on the other side, I had the Genesis, right? So, the Genesis, man, them controllers, they broke like crazy. I had so many Genesis controllers break on me.
I never had one break.
Oh, man. You just didn't wear them out then.
That's probably it. I was playing SNES more than I was playing Genesis.
Yeah, see, we were the other way around. So, yeah, me and my brothers just pretty much broke all of ours.
There's some variations of that I never knew of. There's the one with the joystick instead of the D-pad.
Yeah, I never got to use one of those.
Neither have I.
Yeah, I did use the 6-button controller, which was awesome for Mortal Kombat. That was the only thing I ever found.
Yeah, 6-button one was good. Yeah,
the 6-button I never found any use for really outside of Mortal Kombat though. Yeah.
Okay, here's something. There's a third-party Genesis controller that used the touchpad instead of a joystick or a D-pad.
Oh God. Can you imagine how bad a touchpad had to be back then?
Way back when, man. Oh boy.
Yeah, that had to be horrible. Alright, so the Genesis, nothing really remarkable there. N64. The Rubik's Cube of game controllers.
You know, once you figure out how to use it, it's not a bad controller because most games didn't use both the D-pad and the joystick.
True.
or if they use the D-pad, they didn't use the Z button. So you're kind of just, it's really depending on the game and then getting used to how you hold it. But the fact that they have 3 handles, like, what are we, aliens?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we supposed to like sprout an arm out of our chest? Like, what's happening here?
Well, they gave us the analog stick, right? We needed that, so that was good. I mean, and that's a big innovation, not to be overlooked in any way.
Very
Everything
true.
else about that controller sucks pretty hard. Although the underneath button wasn't bad.
I like the Z button on the
Yeah,
bottom.
yeah,
I did.
It wasn't bad. But if you were using the D-pad, you were nowhere near it, so that kind of sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But you really weren't using the D-pad for pretty much anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you use D-pad
The C buttons were friggin' weird. Like, why couldn't they just grasp the idea of another analog stick back then? It's beyond me.
I don't know why they had the C buttons then.
I don't know. And you know what hurts the N64 controller the most, though?
What's that?
It's primary competition of that era.
Oh, yes.
DualShock.
Yep.
Now, there's a controller that had its shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the original PlayStation controller, okay, not bad. Gave us 4 shoulder buttons, something that we quickly found out was very useful and very much
Definitely needed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it gave us the 4 face buttons, and it gave us start and select. You know. But it was missing a little something, and when they got the DualShock, they nailed it. Now we had our 2 analog sticks. One for moving, one for camera. Perfect. Even though back then we didn't really use it for camera as much.
Nope.
Nowadays, it's like everything, though, because everything's 3D world you move around in.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave us the rumble back, so that was cool. You know, we got some rumble. Actually, no. We didn't have rumble before that, right? So, N64 controllers had the rumble pack.
I don't think PlayStation had the rumble until
the original one didn't. No.
Yeah, the DualShock did.
So now we got rumble, and it's built in. There's no pack, which is good. You know. So you got rumble, you got dual analog sticks. Everything's good. And really, the DualShock model has not changed much over time.
No, it hasn't.
It's been pretty consistent. The DualShock 4 is the biggest deviation from it yet.
And that's with the touchpad in the middle.
Yeah, it stretches it out a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, the Saturn controller, we're not even going to waste breath on that thing. Nobody used it. Nobody cares. So let's just move to Sega's other controller, the Dreamcast controller.
I love the Dreamcast controller. Yeah, it was huge though.
It wasn't huge as much as it had an odd shape. Like it's no Xbox One original Xbox controller.
And you know there was so much blank space for no reason.
Yes, that's the thing. It's not an efficient design.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It had triggers instead of bumpers.
Yeah, and that's big. That's a big thing to add. It had real triggers, and that made a lot of games better.
It felt like a frisbee.
Yeah, it kind of felt like you could throw it and it would like rotate into orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it definitely had the analog stick, which was needed.
It didn't have 2 analog sticks though, which was a failing on their part to realize.
Yeah, this is also true. But then it had the VMUs. Right? Plug the memory card right into the controller. Got a little visual in there.
Yeah, it wasn't bad when you get things like stat bars and stuff in games, but the VMUs outside of that weren't very useful.
I'm sorry, but in Sonic you could play with the little, like a Tamagotchi like mini game. All right.
Sorry, my fault. Game of the fucking century. Chris said it.
Innovative.
Anybody who doesn't believe that statement, go flame at Chris BCGC on Twitter. Now, what was useful was the ability to pick your plays when you played a game like NFL 2K. So me and you were playing against each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's right.
I don't want you to see what plays I'm picking. I can do play selection on VMU. That
Bam.
was good.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Other
is a
than that, I
beautiful
can't think
thing,
of too many
yeah.
other good uses that it had though.
It was light. The whole controller was light.
Yeah. The
That was
cord
about
came
it.
out of the bottom of it, which was a poor decision.
Yeah, I never understood that.
Yeah, because I had a lot of them go bad because it gets wrapped around the controller and that cord keeps getting bent and bent and bent on that
Yeah.
sharp angle and it eventually goes.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, so that was a poor decision. Um,
I always thought the start button was a little too far for my hand. So while you're holding the controller,
yeah, that
and if
weird
you press
triangle
start,
button.
yeah, you get to lift up just to get to that weird triangle button at the bottom of the controller. I hated that. It was
Yeah.
too far away for me to press start. Like I had to... But yeah, that was one of my things.
Oh, Chris, talk some more about the Dreamcast controller. I'll be right back here.
Dreamcast controller, poor design, innovative triggers. They got the letters in alphabetical order, so none of that BAYX crap that Nintendo was doing. Definitely was a frisbee shaped design. Definitely could throw that around the room. I can't think of anything else.
Okay, Chris, stop telling us about how you love ballet. Okay.
It's true.
Now,
This
we were
is
talking
very
about
true.
Dreamcast controllers. I realized I had something right nearby that I could do a little show and tell with. You remember this thing?
I don't know what I'm looking at.
This is the Dreamcast arcade stick. See, there's
I
the
can't-
Dreamcast logo.
I can't even see anything right now.
You's terrible. Anyway, I still have this thing. I don't know why. It's not like I've broken the Dreamcast out in over a year now. But yeah.
Yeah, that's really
still
weird
got
that you would
still
have it
going
up
strong. Yeah.
and going. That's kind of strange, my friend.
Kids keep asking me to pull it out. One of these weekends we're gonna.
You definitely should, man. Get House of the Dead.
Yeah, get some House of the Dead action, a little Crazy Taxi. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we go from Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, DualShock 2 is the most unimpressive of all the DualShocks, so we won't spend any time with that.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything with that.
Yeah, GameCube controller we already talked about.
Xbox.
Oh boy.
Brick of a controller.
Hey, that thing could definitely hold down a tarp.
Yep. Nope, you're
I'd
right.
say
It
it was
could
a
probably
monster.
stop a car from moving. Could probably
Destroy-
build a solid house out of it.
Yeah, I would love to see somebody put mortar in between a bunch of Xbox controllers like that. That'd be great. No, what I was thinking was, there was concern about the size of that controller before it came out, and Microsoft swore up and down that in their focus groups that was the most popular controller.
I don't understand.
Yeah,
Who were they? Were they only talking to giants?
I think they were talking to people with like Brett Favre hands, like just mammoth mitts, like. Because how could you like that controller? It's so huge.
These controllers are good. It fit large hands. Like, and then the logo was massive too, man. Like,
I know.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Anyway, then they released the Controller S. That thing I liked.
Yes,
Much
that
smaller
was the
profile.
one I used a lot.
I liked the placement of the white and black buttons a lot better on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a step in the right direction. Another cool thing that Microsoft did with their first controller, the breakaway cord.
Oh, that's right.
And remember, it had a 10-foot cord.
Yep.
They were on top of the fact that people liked the game far from their TV. And they were like, here, we're going to give you this huge cord so you can sit all the way across the room. And we're going to give you the breakaway cable for when your stupid buddy like trips across it so he doesn't yank your system out of your entertainment center.
It was more so for the cats.
Okay, the cats.
People and their
thought-
cats.
I was thinking more the frat rooms, you know. And I
Oh,
was
good
thinking some
point.
of our drunk gaming parties we used to have, so, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Either one still works all the same, you know. Especially when GameCube comes out at the same time and the cord's like not longer than my arm. It was like
Yeah,
you
that
would
was a
see
little weird. They
somebody
want
at
people
Nintendo was like, it'll cost us an extra 15 cents to add 3 feet to that cord.
to.
Like, are you kidding me?
Come on, man.
Yeah. So, the Xbox controller, the S, definitely better, but they brought some good innovations and real triggers, much like the Dreamcast controller had.
Yep.
Like the real left and right triggers. And that made Halo such a great game because they had the right control scheme and they had the right kind of controller to pull it off on.
Very
Because,
true.
you know what I mean? You got the down the sights on L, you got the fire with right trigger, like,
The
it's
joystick
perfect.
right next to the buttons.
And every shooter to this day still uses that same control scheme. Like they figured it out, and part of it was because they did have the tool needed to make it happen. Yeah. Um, okay, so we go from Xbox to Xbox 360 then.
Oh, much better.
Go
Favorite
ahead, Chris.
controller.
Do you want to propose to the controller now?
It's my favorite controller, man. It's a beauty. It fits nice in your hand. It's got the bumpers instead of the black and white buttons. It's got
Huge
perfect
innovation.
triggers. The joysticks are perfectly placed next to the
I would
buttons.
argue that point.
Um, use your damn DualShock touching joysticks.
Look, I like both setups. If
I need.
you gun to my head, I'm taking the two analog sticks right next to each other. I kind of prefer it that way. Either one's fine, though, to be honest.
I don't know. It just feels right, man. I feel
Yeah,
like this
some
is the
people
way they
really like
should
the
be.
offset analog stick. I don't get it.
The one thing I didn't like too much was the D-pad was kind of a slippery surface. That was the only thing I didn't like.
D-pad on the 360 controller sucks ass.
Yep. And it's the plastic they use is a hard, shiny plastic, so it kind of
If you
slips.
use the D-pad a lot, it will hurt the shit out of your thumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, when you only use it a little bit, like to switch weapons or something in a shooter, not so bad because you're not using it a ton. Don't forget
The home
360
button.
Yes, the home button. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was going to say it's wireless, which, was really the wireless revolution for controllers.
Yeah, it was around that time. The
Yeah, and
PS3.
then you also got your first system with like a real true OS running behind it. So now you got the home button to access those features. So all stuff
Very
we're
true.
still using today. Yeah, so Microsoft was way ahead of the game with that one.
There's an argument to be made, but I'll wait till we get to the PS3 before I make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to be there in a second. All I got to say to wrap up with the 360 controller is that it was my favorite for the longest time. And as I'm getting older and my hands are taking more damage, I'm realizing that controller is a little bigger than a DualShock, which means I got to stretch my fingers out a little more to use it, which means my hands get tired faster, which means I prefer DualShocks anymore because they're a little smaller. Now, if somebody's got a bigger hand than me, they probably like that because it probably fits their hand a little better. My hands, I ain't the Burger King commercial dude with the tiny hands, but, I got a little more of a preference for the DualShock. I can game a little longer on it these days.
I get that.
So, okay, so you want to talk DualShock 3. That's next on the agenda. So what do you got to
Yes.
say about this?
I always liked the DualShock 3. I've never had a problem with the DualShock 3. I just feel more comfortable with my 360 controller. But
You've
I will.
spent more hours with it.
I think that could be it. But I had a PS3 too, and I spent a lot of time with that. I will say I do like the fact that it used USB to connect if you need to charge it. I will say I do enjoy the fact that it uses Bluetooth.
Actually, hold on. Let's get back to this one thing real quick because I want to go on this little tangent here.
All right,
Okay, charging controller versus batteries.
that was my next point.
Yeah, well, where do you stand with this?
This is what I was trying to figure out because I like them both. I like the fact that I can swap out batteries on my Xbox 360 controller, but with the PS3 controller, I mean, you could just charge it for 4 hours and leave it off to the side when you're done playing, and then come back and you'd have a fully charged controller for hours and hours on end. But I mean, I don't really see any negative to any one of them, except with the PS3, if it dies while you're playing, you literally have to stop playing until it's fully charged.
Yeah. I guess I'd say this. It depends on how many controllers you have, right? Like, if you're that dude who just games alone, you only have one controller, batteries are better. Because if your shit dies, you throw more batteries in, you're good to go, right? If you had a charged controller and it's dead, you're screwed while you wait for it to charge. Or you got to sit like right in front of your TV because the USB cable is like a foot long.
Yeah, I was like...
Now, if you got two, then charging controllers are better because you can charge one while you're playing with the other, and you should always be covered.
But here's the thing. With PS3, you have the ability to buy a USB extender because it's a USB cord.
Yeah.
You just needed a macro USB cord, slap that right in, you have a longer cord, you're done. And they're pretty cheap. Yeah, they're pretty cheap.
I always have 4 controllers, though, so it's never an issue for me.
You just swap them out.
Now, one thing I'll say is this, though. On the PS4, they figured this out, that you needed to be able to charge the controllers while the system was off. You couldn't do that on PS3 because you had to leave the system running to charge your controllers.
In order to charge it. Yep.
Yeah. So at least on the PS4, they set up the rest mode charging. Made a big difference. And you need it because the PS4 controller just sinks like the Titanic.
That's ridiculous.
The battery life on it is so bad.
So is that the only bad thing with the PS4 right now? Is the battery life on the controller?
Well, if you want to get into the PSN stuff, but that's a whole nother episode of this show, man. I mean, it's a mess. It works though, and it works better than the PS3 stuff did. So, you take the small steps, Okay, so DualShock 3, where you were talking about. We talked about the charging. Right? They stole triggers from Microsoft. They stole the home button from Microsoft. They stole motion controls from the Wii controller. So, I'm good with it, man. Like if somebody's doing something good, iterate on it.
It's how you have to do it.
Sucks.
Yep. It's how you're supposed to do it.
I hate when companies act like, oh, well, what they're doing sucks, so we're just gonna, pretend it's the worst thing ever. Meanwhile, they're sitting in like board meetings, probably going like, "Damn, why didn't we think of it first?
Why didn't we come up with this shit?"
It's okay to admit the other guys are smart too. Fine by me. Like, give me the best thing you can give me, whether it's your original idea or not. So that used to drive me nuts with the like Guitar Hero Rock Band thing, because each game would have features, that the other one wouldn't, and they would just try to act like the other game didn't have it.
Dude, when Guitar Hero took forever just to get downloadable songs, I was like, "Are you kidding me, man? Like, this is really easy to do. Like, come on, just." I don't like Rock Band.
When 3 came out, and they were just like, "Yeah, no, we're a guitar game. We're all about the guitars, and this is what people want." And they just tried to act like the whole drums and singing thing was a terrible idea, and they didn't need it. And then the following year, they got it.
They got World Tour.
Like, it's okay to admit you got beat to the punch. It's fine, So
it was like, they also were trying to stray away from like pop songs. And then once they got the band, they're like, "Yeah, we need to probably throw some of these into the mix." This is apparently Rock Band's really making money off of this, so let's kind of hit on this.
Yeah, we need to hop on the gravy train too, right? That's fine. I mean, hey,
do what you got to do to survive, man.
Serve your customers, man. Get the best experience you can. Okay. You know what we're up to now, right?
The new gen stuff, right?
No, we got one more from that generation.
Oh God, the Wii.
The Wii remote. Thoughts on the Wii remote, sir?
I liked the two-handed option of it. I like
Whoa,
the
you like the two-handed option? We don't need to know about that on this podcast.
I like the separation of the joystick and the Wiimote, right? I hated the motion sensing. Like, I felt like it was clunky, and you had to have it pointed at the exact point of the bar, and you're spinning like a good 15 minutes trying to figure out if the bar should go on the top and the bottom. Is it register better from this angle or this angle of the TV?
Yeah.
I don't really know. And then you have to sit in an awkward position and make sure it senses your control. Like, it was a good idea, but it was executed poorly.
That was the thing that killed me. Like, remember over the summer when I was going back and playing Mario Galaxy 2 because I love the Mario Galaxy games? The reason I gave up after like a day was because I can't stand gaming like this, having to hold that remote pointed at the television. Like, why can't I just kick back and relax? I got the nunchuck, I got the Wii remote. Let me just sit down and chill and play my game, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, because you got to have that stupid thing pointed at the screen all the time. Motion controls didn't bother me. Having to have that damn thing pointed at the screen killed me. I couldn't stand it.
That was the issue, man. But then they came out with the gamepad.
You just want to jump right to the Wii U gamepad?
Yeah, we're not even going to talk about the button layout for the Wiimote was perfect, especially when you could turn it sideways and play the games like an old NES. I thought that was beautiful.
It was pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah. And I did like the joystick being in a little hand. That was kind of a cool feature. But yeah, there's nothing like revolutionary about it. Like, nothing innovative.
Wait, are we talking about the gamepad now?
No, we're talking about the Wiimote. The gamepad was nice.
You seemed like you wanted to jump to the gamepad. You lost me for a second there, man.
Definitely on the gamepad.
Well, the Wii remote, I'll say this. It did have a pretty decent ergonomic design to it, like, because you got that B button, like, right under your finger there, you know. Mm-hmm. And the A button is kind of, like, in the perfect spot. The D-pad's in a weird spot, though. Like, it works for the turnover, but when you're holding it upright, it really, like, remember with Madden, like, you would have to press the direction and flick it to throw? You know, that was a stretch getting up to it.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, and, like, the plus and minus were okay. It was the 1 and 2 buttons. They were, like, really far down. So, again, if you're holding it upright, you really got to stretch to get down to them 1 and 2 buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a real failing of the whole remote design. The nunchuck, perfect. I can't complain about the nunchuck. You got the analog stick right there. You got the 2 buttons.
I think the nunchuck is perfect.
The only thing that bothered me was, like, could we get a wireless nunchuck? That would have been great. Like, if the nunchuck could have communicated to the system and just been synced up as player 1's nunchuck, that would have been great. Have that stupid dangling rope.
Yep.
Thing was, like, always hanging, like, right in my crotch. I was like, come on, man. What the fuck?
But it also stopped people from throwing the Wiimote into your TV, so...
I don't think...
If they're holding one...
Now I want to find a video of somebody throwing a Wii remote into their TV and the nunchuck, like, just trailing behind it like a stone, you know? Like, oh, man.
Backwards traveling sperm.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Let's do the Wii U gamepad. Now, have you had much time with it?
We're doing the Wii U gamepad, not the classic controller, huh?
You want to talk classic controller for a minute?
Yeah, I like the classic controller.
It's an SNES controller. We already talked about that.
With the joysticks right at the bottom.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you like, man?
Yeah, I can't complain about the classic controller.
I like the classic controller.
I don't know. It does what I need it to do. There's really... I don't know. There's nothing great to say about it. There's nothing bad to say about it.
This is true.
It gets the job done. For all them, because I spend more time on the Wii Virtual Console than I did playing Wii games. So, I mean, that's pretty much all you need to know right there.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Let's just move to the gamepad.
Yep.
Right? Now, you haven't spent a lot of time with Wii U, right?
No, I have not.
Okay. What are your thoughts of the gamepad, then, from the outside looking in?
We're talking about the one with the screen, or we're talking about the actual gamepad?
No, not the Pro Controller. That's another thing.
The Wii U gamepad is pretty much a Sega Game Gear with a camera. Like, that's what I'm looking at.
Okay. It's bigger than a Game Gear, but okay. It's a lot bigger.
All I'm doing when I see this is like, oh, the battery life's got to be shit on that thing. Yep, it's definitely going to be shit.
Yeah, it's pretty rough if you're using it. Yeah, and it
And
takes
then
a
it,
little while to recharge too. It's not even like a turbo charge.
oh god,
Yeah, it's like a 2 hour recharge. It's pretty rough.
I feel like if you showed me that and didn't tell me there was a console part, I'd be like, oh, well, that's a decent handheld thing. Like, I can see what they did there. But then if you
All right.
told me later, like, oh no, it's part of a console, I'm like, the fuck? Like, why would you do something like that?
I'm gonna tell you the strength and the weakness of the Wii U gamepad.
All right.
You could certainly tell me if you've heard this before. When Nintendo utilizes it, they utilize it in a way that makes you appreciate it. When everybody else designs games around it, it doesn't work.
Like Star Fox.
No, Star Fox is the one Nintendo game they're going to make that's going to make you hate that thing. Like, I will not go any... I wouldn't play that game with your hands. Like, that's how disgusted I am at that trash pile of a game. Like, oh man. That's... Don't get me started on Star Fox, dude. I got to keep my stress levels down right now. No, seriously though, the gamepad has some really great things to it, but it's a really cheap piece of technology. It feels super plasticky. It feels like if you kind of flexed it, it would snap right in your hands.
Oh wow.
The gamepad is like very low resolution, and it feels like thick. Like, you know when you touch your cell phone screen, the touch screen on that, it feels nice and like smooth and like glassy.
Yep.
This feels nothing like that. This feels like plasticky and rough. You know, like it feels like not this bad, but kind of similar to like if like a kid's like leap pad. You know. Or
oh wow, like that kind of cheap. All right.
Yeah, not that bad. Not that bad. It's above that, but it reminds you a little more of that than it does of your cell phone screen. You know?
I feel like if you're going to make this, you're going to make that screen like perfect, like cell phone quality.
It'd be like making an Oculus Rift with a CRT monitor. Like, why? Why would you do that? But hey, I mean, this is Nintendo. They like to do this stuff. Like, you know, they're dick teasers. Man. Like, we're just like, look at this cool thing we're gonna give you. Yeah, guess what? It ain't what you wanted. You know. So, but the gamepad does have moments where it really shines, right? Like, I don't know, during the NFL playoffs, right? I'm watching football, commercials, I can have a game running on the gamepad. No switching sources back and forth. Like, I just unpause, keep playing my game. Game's back on, pause. I'm good. You know? Really works good for stuff like that. Other things, like when you play games like Mario Chase, where one person uses the gamepad to see different data than the people on the TV see. That kind of implementation, it works really well, and it opens up different game design stuff. The problem is those things are like oases in the desert, like too few and far between. You know, if there was more of that stuff, it might have done better, but there just isn't. And you think about games that really drive the system: Mario Kart, Smash Brothers. You know, even the Mario World. Or Mario 3D World, was it? Mario 3D Land? 3D World. None of them really implement the screen in any way. Like, they're just classic Nintendo games that don't have screen implementation. Which,
like, how do you implement that?
This is bad for the Wii U. Good for the future of emulating these games, because the emulation of Wii games is horrible, because you gotta go back and use the remotes and point and waggle and all that, and it sucks.
Yeah.
You know, so these games for Wii U right now that are good will be really good on an X when we're emulating them over there. You know, but it sucks right now because it really diminishes the primary product of the Wii U.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anything else, or you want to talk Wii U Pro Controller?
I've got nothing on that thing. Let's talk about the Pro Controller.
Okay, Wii U Pro Controller, awesome. Like, if the NX were to come, let's say it's a standard console and it comes with the Pro Controller, I'm in. Like, because the Pro Controller is beast. It's got a couple little things that could use some tweaking where it could steal a little more from its contemporaries. But if you use the gamepad and then you use the Pro Controller, you will love the Pro Controller. And it's got sick battery life, man. I have plugged that thing in after not using it for weeks and weeks, and it still is juice, man.
Damn.
Yeah. So I think Nintendo had the right idea with the Pro Controller, but they went with this whole gamepad gimmick and kind of screwed it all up.
You know what I think? I think if they took the right analog stick and moved it below the buttons, we'd have a perfect controller.
That is one of the things I was talking about, because putting the analog stick above the button that you use the most, being the A button or B button, whatever one it is that's at the bottom on Nintendo, because they got to use backwards conventions for labeling everything. The problem is the travel distance from the top of the controller all the way back down to the bottom. You know, like there's a delay there in that extra movement you have to make. Whereas on a DualShock 4 or the Xbox One controller, the analog stick and the button on the face that you use the most often is very minimal. They're the closest together.
I'm going to tell you why they can't do it.
Why?
If they do it and they keep the same form that they have now, they've pretty much just created an Xbox 360 controller.
Didn't I just tell you how I like when people take good ideas?
But you can't have the same exact product. You have to take it and innovate. Take it and change.
No,
take it and add.
But Nintendo does. Nintendo has to innovate goddamn everything. Like, you know, Nintendo probably has to like re-innovate like bread if it's up to them. You know, like bread's not good enough for us. You can't do anything original with it. It's like, dude, man, make a sandwich and eat. It's all right. It's good. All right. We already talked Xbox One controller, and we already talked DualShock 4. Actually, we didn't really talk DualShock 4 too much, did we?
No, we skimmed a little bit.
We touched it with the other stuff. Let's wrap it up with the DualShock 4 then.
All right.
Okay, so the bad. The touchpad really has no functionality as a touchpad. It has some minor use in a few games, but much like the Wii U gamepad not having enough implementation and therefore not being necessary, same with the touchpad. It is nice how it works as two separate buttons. So you push left, you get one thing, you push right, you get the other. That's nice because you take the one button and turn it into two. So that's cool. The fact that you get the two buttons, I don't understand what the point of the touchpad was to begin with, though.
Everything's touch now, obviously.
The light bar, fairly useless, and if that is the culprit behind the poor battery life, then shame on Sony, because it doesn't have enough value to justify it. The share button, awesome idea. This is one of the ones they nailed. You hit the share button right to the share menu, upload pics to Twitter, upload videos to YouTube, or just save them locally. Sweet. I mean, they saw that the social media stuff is like the social aspect of gaming is where things are now, you know, and they read the tea leaves good there. So the share button, definitely good. The options button, I know it's just the start button, but why did you have to call it options? Like, why? It looks so weird when I start a game up and it says press options to begin, you know.
Wait, is it options with an S too?
What?
Yeah, so it's options?
Yes, options.
So press options button? Oh, that sounds really weird.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm just like start. Press start to begin. Like, that's why it was the start button. Because they had immediately told people what it was. I don't know. It doesn't change much for me because I just call it start. I know it's start. But I don't know what they were thinking there. Yeah.
Couldn't even tell you, man.
The shoulder buttons. Shoulder buttons on the DualShock 4 are a big improvement over the PS3. Because the PS3 triggers sucked. Like, I had to buy these little attachments so they would, like, loop around your finger, kind of like the Xbox 360 triggers did. So, yeah. So, the triggers on this one are much better. They actually have, like, a full, like, press-in range. And your fingers don't really slip off them. They're a little small, though. And I still wish they had the full wraparound effect that the Xbox One triggers have. But it's a big improvement. So,
yeah, it's definitely smaller than the R1 and L1 buttons.
Well, the
From
tubes.
the looks of it, yeah.
Yeah. Um, the analog sticks, they use a concave design now instead of a convex design like they did on the PlayStation 3 or the DualShock 3s. This I like because when you're like holding an analog stick down on an angle for a long time, that convex design, your finger will start to slip off of it. Whereas with the concave design, your finger gets into the groove and can hold on to it so you don't lose your grip. So I do like that. The D-pad, kind of the same. Face buttons, still the same. No changes there. R1 and L1 are still the same. It's a little longer because of that touchpad. It's a little longer than the DualShock typically was. But it's still just, I don't know, still just feels right in my hand. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. It's my preferred gaming controller now. So, I wish it had better battery life. That's really my biggest complaint with it.
That's really kind of depressing.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm a guy with a bunch of controllers, so I just keep one charging while I use another, so it doesn't bother me. But for some dude out there who doesn't want to blow like $50 on another controller, I can see how that would be a pain in the ass. Of course, that guy probably doesn't game a lot either. Like, I don't know. Are there really any hardcores out there like who are like, dude, I can't spend $50? Like, I don't know. Scotty Mac's got one. I think he probably only has one controller, knowing him, and he doesn't seem to complain about it. So
Yeah,
and he's
that's
like
true.
Mr. Destiny, so you know he's getting in there for a while. Of course, I could see Scotty sitting right in front of his TV, plugged into his PlayStation 4 to keep his controller charged.
I can see that.
Just sitting Indian style.
I
Like,
can see that. Yeah.
You know, probably playing on a CRT TV. I'm kidding, Scott. Stop. I know you're not playing on a CRT monitor. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Chris. We've been going at this for, geez, almost 2 hours now. You ready to get going?
Yeah. Ready to
Got
go.
much else to add. Are there any other controllers you want to bring up?
No,
Oh, wait.
I can't think of any.
Yes. There's one more.
Uh-oh.
Can't leave without talking about the Steel Battalion controller.
Oh, you mean the room?
Yes, the room. That
man.
That controller is going to haunt me for the rest of my life that I never invested in that game just to see. Just to see what it's like to play a game with that monstrous controller. I mean, like 80-something buttons, are you kidding me? 3 foot pedals, you know.
That was ridiculous. And you had to buy that. It was with the game, man.
Yeah. Like $200. Like, yes, it's $200, but $200 I would have spent over a decade ago. I could care less at this point, right?
That's God.
You know?
And it came out like in the early stages of the 360, right?
No, the Xbox original.
Xbox original.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, it was like in the middle of its life, though.
Okay.
Yeah. You can wiki the year if you want. Yeah, but I'm always gonna be like, what if, you know? And I'm not going back and buying one now because my original Xbox died, you know. So that was a shame. I actually felt bad for the trash man who had to haul that massive thing away when I threw it out. Oh man. Oh yeah.
Wow,
One more thing I gotta bring up, dude. DDR dance pad.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Now, I owned 3 different DDR dance pads. You know. So.
Crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? They were all kind of the same. But I kind of just preferred the one that came with the game. Even more than the like $100 one I bought at Best Buy that had like all padding inserts and stuff. Yeah. So. Neat, though. That was like in that age when it was like, buy a game, get an accessory with it, you know?
That was cool.
You had that, then you had Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and then you had like Tony Hawk Ride and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I forgot about Ride.
Oh, can we all please forget about Ride?
Yeah.
Even my daughter, who was the most hardcore skateboarder at the time, had no interest in that. Like, she played it for like a couple hours and was like, this sucks. And I was like, really? And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm glad you're not just jumping up and down on this damn skateboard on my floor all day. Like, I'm gonna end up with a like fucking hole in it or something. Come home and you're gonna be like, it's gonna be like the money pit. Like your top half's gonna be like, Dad, help! Your feet are gonna be in the basement, you know. So, yeah. And Rock Band Guitar Hero instruments, man.
Oh yeah,
Any
the guitars were
preferences
always
there?
great. Any what?
Preferences.
I've always been a fan of the Guitar Hero controllers. I like the buttons.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I actually liked the strum bars on the Guitar Hero ones more. I like the clicking.
That clicking feedback was so satisfying.
Yeah. Funny how that works, huh?
Yep.
I
Everyone wants
you could do an analysis of like people who have haptic feedback on their phone if they liked Guitar Hero controllers more, and people who
I
turn haptic
do
feedback
not like
off.
haptic feedback.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I keep it on.
I don't like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I like the
maybe
clicking
my theory
sound of
has
my
been
guitar.
shot down right here on the show.
Yeah, haptic feedback seems a little too much because when you start typing, it's like, it's like I don't want you to do that. Buzzing means I got a notification or a phone call or a message, not I'm typing a letter. All right.
I don't know. I kind of like the responsive feel of it, like that. I know I hit the key, and if I get like if I get a double, I know that maybe I kind of fat fingered it and hit two different keys at the same time.
I get that.
But if I get typing a lot and it starts buzzing a lot, it starts vibrating a bunch in my hand. It starts reminding me of that time me and my wife were up in Lake Tahoe. And
Uh-oh.
all right, let's end the show. All right, that's it. Episode 25 of the Collective Games Cast. We were talking game controllers. This guy over there we go. He likes the Xbox 360 controller. I'm kind of a DualShock guy. They're both awesome, though. And we both like Guitar Hero guitars. Catch us next week. We don't know what day we're going to air yet because we're still playing around with show times, trying to see what's working out best for the viewers. But yeah, that's it. Hit us up on Twitter at the Collective GC. I'm the Malgadar. You can find me on Twitter at the Malgadar. That's Chris over there. You can hit him up on Twitter at ChrisBCGC. And I think that's it. We're out of here. You want to say bye to everybody, Chris?
Goodbye, guys.